Daniel Andrews has been the leader of the Labor Party for the last 10 years. He set the standard. He's created the culture. Daniel Andrews is the root of this problem. He plays hard politics, and he shouldn't be surprised when those around him do exactly the same thing. Daniel Andrews is responsible for this disgraceful abuse of power that we have seen. He's now running a protection racket for Minister Carruthers and Minister Scott. They should be gone as well. They should be absolutely gone. For Daniel Andrews to cover up, to protect them, to run a protection racket for them is disgraceful. This is a Premier who has got form. The Labor Party has got form when it comes to ripping off Victorian taxpayers. You don't have to go back too far to remember the red shirts rorts. $388,000 ripped off from taxpayers that the Ombudsman required the Labor Party to repay. Well, we don't think that it's good enough, that it's happened all over again, but on steroids. You've now got ministerial staffers on six-figure salaries spending their days doing Labor Party dirty work instead of getting Victorians back to work. That's what they're paid for. You've got the Small Business Minister at a time when small businesses across this state are being absolutely crucified, and he's more worried about political games. You've got the Premier who brought him back into Cabinet, called him his very good friend and said that he was a better person. Well, Daniel Andrews lacks judgment. Daniel Andrews lacks character. Because if he had the right character, he would have set the tone for the Labor Party in his 10 years as leader that this would be unacceptable. He can't turn around today and say, oh, this is a surprise to me. He knew what these ministers were like. He allowed it to happen. He allowed it to flourish. And Victorians are worse off as a result. We will be pursuing these matters through the Parliament, through other means, because Victorians deserve better than a corrupt political system. And that's what we have seen evidence of in these reports. This is political corruption in its worst sense, because it basically says political power is more important than the interests and the welfare of the people of this state. Labor has been in for too long. They have become so complacent. They genuinely believe that this state is theirs. We see that in the arrogance. We see that in the misconduct. It's time for Victorian politics to be cleaned up, and that'll start when this Labor government gets cleaned out.
What are the other means that you're looking at?
Well, we'll be announcing further matters tomorrow in the Parliament.